War. War never changes.
Hello, ladies. Oh, the subscribe logo popped up before I even got to say it. That's okay. We're all about branding here on War Never Changes, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Jim, over there, joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the level 101 on Call of Duty Black Ops Warzone Season Pass, the longest introduction ever for Phil McCracken. Okay, now you can flex. Did you already flex? I missed it.
Yeah, I already did. Level 131 as of this morning.
Holy smokes! What happened? You just fell in love with this game again? I mean, I'm happy for you. Listen,
No,
I'm just
I finally
curious.
become comfortable playing it on my own.
Aw, you grew up. My
Uh,
little boy, my little 7'7" boy, my little 785-pound angel. That's cute. Whee! Yeah, so I was actually looking. The last time we recorded was almost a month ago. You could blame me. That's fine.
if you'd stop taking vacations.
I'm sorry. But I'm back. Unfortunately, in the kerfluffle, Will died. No, he didn't die. I'm sure he'll be back again next week. He's got a lot of work stuff going on right now, so we're not bothering him. So Phil and I decided it was time. Phil texted me or poloed me first and said, "Yo, dog." And I said, "Yo, dog, let's do this." And we did. And here we are. So it's good to be back, Phil. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you're playing a lot of Call of Duty. And I guess that's actually where I wanted to start because you, what's with the dance? You are like a little ball of energy. Little virtual dance party. Oh yeah, that's from Night at the Roxbury.
Yep.
What is love? I'd play the music, but they'd copyright strike us because that's how it works. Um, Listen here, dude. We played. Now I know there's a new beta going on this weekend, which we may or may not check out for Vanguard. Um, you didn't even play the last one because you didn't download it.
That's correct.
Because you're such a G unit. You're like, oh, I didn't know I had to even do anything. I thought it just appeared on my PlayStation 5. You mean I have to download something? Ho ho ho, living the high life.
What's it gonna have in the fucking thing if it doesn't just sentiently download things
I,
for me?
I love that it just magically appears. All right, how do we get into this? I did get a chance to play it. It didn't wow me at all. Have you looked into any like new trailers or announcements or features or anything about this game? Are you soundly already dismissing it? Your love for Black Ops bringing you back into the fold? What's going on with your thoughts on the new Call of Duty Vanguard?
So I subscribe to a gaming channel on YouTube called Viper Magic, spelled with a Y and a J for some reason. The fucking idiot can't spell.
Worst branding ever. Seriously. I mean, that guy. Yeah, what a
But,
douche.
but yeah, fuck that guy. But he has given frequent updates on his impressions of the game. I find him to be trustworthy. I'm not going to waste my time on a game that I know he's not going to play with me. I have no
Okay.
interest in it on my own, dude. I have the last World War II game over there. I bought like the premium edition that came with like a statue and stuff.
It
I
came
think
with
I
a
got
grenade, right? Is that the collector edition that came with a working grenade?
no, it came with like an actual statue. The
Oh.
grenade was optional in case you wanted to get rid of the fucking thing. But yeah, no, man, that one it fucking sucked. I got 6 hours into the story mode and I was so bored I couldn't. I was bored to tears. So
Yeah. I really like it's his love hate thing because we talk about it all the time. I mean, we really do talk about wars. I feel like Warzone is like, well, I shouldn't say Warzone. I'll just say Call of Duty collectively. It's kind of like our game because we're always talking about it. I mean, every week we're always playing it. I'm done with this. I've uninstalled and reinstalled this game 500 times. I've lost count, honestly, of how many times I've piddled with this thing. But they always find a way to bring me back. They're always adding new stuff, new characters, new content, whatever. I just feel like Vanguard and me just aren't going to get along. I just don't really feel that. Um, I don't know. I'm World War II'd out. I'm World War One out, honestly. Like I want at least present day. You want to go 100 years in the future? Great, but we got to at least be like mid 2000s before I'm even interested.
Right. I agree. I I guess I'm spoiled insofar that I'm sorry.
Welcome
I'm
back.
I'm spoiled because I'm used to the modern warfare
Sorry.
weapons.
Yeah.
I'm used to having like all those, and it's just like, oh, do I really want to go back to like an M1? No, I don't. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know what the obsession with this era is in video gaming. It was really popular in the early 2000s, where you had so many iterations of these World War, the D-Day, the whole thing, like those very iconic scenes, the U-boat crashing up on the shores, and everybody storming out, and it was iconic at the time. I mean, not to take away from it, obviously a very important moment in at least American history. I mean, I would assume the world because it is a world war, but
Yeah.
um,
World history.
yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, it was cool to play through, but there's been nothing added to it. And I don't think any level of graphical fidelity, sound effects, anything is going to really make that moment any more interesting than it was. And I feel like the game suffers because of the slower gameplay with the weapons, particularly a lot of the bolt type weapons, and the color tone. I think that's what really set me off. Just a lot of grays and dark colors and plumes of smoke and just, I mean, obviously that's what it was like. It was representative of the time, but just not fun to look at.
Right.
Nothing to catch your eye. And I just don't, I don't, I think, Call of Duty's pretty much an annual franchise. It's been an annual franchise for, I don't know what, at least 7 or 8 years, it seems like. Um, I just feel like they're sitting on the boardroom and they're like, all right, we got Treyarch lined up. We got Sledgehammer. You're next. What do you guys want to do? And they're like, we really want to get our hands on a World War II game. And the boardroom's probably like, what else you got? Do you want to skip a year? So I don't know, man. I have no interest in this at all, though. And I still think I'll play Warzone, though. I feel like Warzone has been slowly getting better, where I think that will keep me interested. And they'll probably get my money that way. But on the actual multiplayer battle pass part of it, I think it's time for me to retire after the next iteration of games comes out.
How cool is the Warzone Clash mode? That's what we've been into recently.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up because to me, that is where I think Warzone is heading. I think it's better when you have these really crazy game modes. And there's nothing even crazy about it. It's 50v50 multiplayer, which is honestly, you probably don't remember because you were an Xbox guy for a long time. But did you ever hear of a game called MAG, M-A-G? It's called like Massive. I think it was Massive Action Game. And it was a PlayStation 2 game, and I think they ported it to PlayStation 3. I'm sure some smart ass will tell me I'm wrong in the comments, but it was like 100v100, and this was back in like the dial-up days. There was nothing ever like it before. You logged in, and it was massive. There's tanks, there's airplanes, it's just total carnage. And it ran like ass, of course, as you would expect. Everybody was skipping and rubber banding all over the place. But this isn't a new concept. I just feel like Modern Warfare took what was good in Modern Warfare and put the best elements of Warzone, picked an interesting part of the map, and said, hey, get out there, and now you're going to go play in a team deathmatch mode. And it's great. It's like big team battle, and it's just carnage. Everybody's running around. It's nuts. Gunfire everywhere. Tons of power-ups, chain guns, juggernaut armor, missile drops. I mean, it's hectic. And it's very tightly compacted. You get to respawn. You pick your loadout. All that kind of stuff. I think they did a really good job with that. So I'm happy. That's like I see that's the future of Warzone. I feel like that's where you're gonna have fun. Come up with these creative modes. Put them in a rotation. People are gonna get bored of this. Bring something else in. Then bring this back in a couple months for a week or two. I think that's how you draw people into this game.
Yeah, the Tendy boys will ride.
Yeah, so we actually had, okay, at one point we were in a squad of 4, juggernaut armor 30 grand, and we figured out pretty quickly that there's those respawning chests. They get the little timer on them and they reopen. And Phil and I decided to hang out in the back lines and just go around and not contribute to the war at all because we're too busy looting for money. And every contract you get was a bounty. And of course, you're not even near the guy and he's getting smoked because there's just blood everywhere. Like everybody's shooting everybody. It doesn't matter. And the bounties consecutively get more and more. You get more money for those, plus doing the chests. So what we started to do and how we've played, and I feel is the proper way to play, is we just don't engage until we're in Juggernaut armor. That's how we've played. And it's been great.
Slowly trundle our healthy frames.
Oh my god. You got that. Yeah, so the Juggernaut armor, you got the big gas mask. You're running really slowly, and your guy's huffing and puffing through this oxygen system. And you feel like a good boy, a real good boy. So at one point, we played with a random group of 2 other people, and they also had the same idea. And there were 4 of us, all in Juggernaut armor, basically walking, belly to belly down the street, just shooting wildly. I don't think we hit anything, but it didn't matter. It was so much chain gun fire. It was like 800 rounds of ammo in like 5 seconds. Just basically like a spread gun across the entire street floor. It was phenomenal. As a matter of fact, I know I have it because I emailed it to you. The thumbnail of today's video is Phil standing on the rooftop in his heavy-duty chain gun armor. There's like 30 seconds left in the match, shooting into the abyss, and I just happened to grab a good like a snapshot of it as I parachuted by. That is a lot of fun, and I couldn't do that every single day, but I think that is probably my single favorite Warzone like mode that has come out since this whole thing started, for sure.
I would say probably the same. It's been a lot of fun. In fact, I'm hoping to try to convince you to play a couple rounds with me after we're done recording.
Yeah, I'll play a round or 2. Here's what happens when I play with you in this mode, though. Is it always devolves back to zombies?
No, I haven't asked you to play zombies in weeks. I've totally left you alone. Weeks.
1 week. 1 week. Weeks. I wrote it down in my journal, my dream journal. The other cool thing that Warzone came out with that Phil immediately bought was Dread. So now Dread is part of... I assume he's part of a bigger lineup of like Halloween-esque characters.
I am the law.
I don't think of Judge Dredd as Halloween, but I feel like they're going for like, oh, it's Halloween's costumes. Now you could be Judge Dredd. Now you could be like... I was blown away by when Rambo came out. I bought him day 1. I know you bought McClane day 1. Who else are we missing? Who else? I know you said you're a big Judge Dredd fan. I am too, but I like the modern Dredd, not the Stallone Dredd. To me, I like the Carl Urban Dredd better. Who is... Don't shake your head at me. Watch this. Watch this, everybody at home. He's gone. Okay, now he's back. Everybody... Who is the who else do you need? Who's a day 1 purchase for you?
Arnold.
Just any Arnold? Any particular variant like Predator Arnold, or just generic Arnold?
I would do Predator. I would do Predator, Terminator, or True Lies Arnold.
Oh, True Lies Arnold would be a good one. Yeah. I would love Terminator. Yeah, Terminator with the black leather jacket. Or the naked version.
Did you say Tom Arnold?
Terminator?
Why am I thinking about Tom Arnold? Oh, you know what? Tom Arnold was in True Lies. Never mind. Disregard. Insert Tom Arnold face here.
I'm saying Arnold Schwarzenegger as Terminator from Terminator 2. Mm-hmm. Either naked when he first spawns in, or with the leather jacket. Either variant is accepted.
Why do you want naked Arnold?
You're not going to see it, but the enemies will. It's like a distraction. They're like, "Is that a?"
Off. Arnold deserves better than that.
And when you parachute in, you don't parachute in. You just appear through that like portal naked, and like all the clouds You don't waste time parachuting and you just appear. Yeah, I mean it's Dread doesn't really have anything to do with 80s. I know obviously the 80s action heroes we had with Stallone and with Bruce Willis. Um, Dread is just because. I don't know if they're like, hey, we could license this random character from a movie that did okay. Let's do it. And people are
What year
buying
did
them.
that come out?
The new Dread came out.
No. What year did Judge Dredd come out?
Oh, the original?
Yes.
It was definitely in the 90s, right? Let me look here. Judge Dredd came out in 1995.
Okay.
So it doesn't really fit with, and I wouldn't say it was a flop, according to Microsoft Bing, the true search engine. It had a budget of 90 million and it grossed 113 million, and it sits at a whopping 22% on Rotten Tomatoes or a 5.6 on IMDb. So not that great. Now the Carl Urban version, which to me the preferred version, came out in 2012. Ooh, it did even worse. It had a budget of 50 million. It only made 41 million, but it sits at a 7.1 on IMDb. So, not a huge pedigree there. That's what I mean. Like it's such a weird, like it's not relevant. It wasn't relevant when it came out. They'd be better off doing something, I don't know. I mean, if we're to this point now where anything goes, then anything goes. Then there's really no time barrier limit. Obviously, cultural impact, So we're just gonna have whatever come out now.
Dude, they should make an Arnold Schwarzenegger pack where it's Arnold as like the governor of California, and then one of the female operatives can be dressed as a maid.
Yeah, the maid.
Just, just shove that knife in there a little bit.
Oh my God.
Legitimate love child is the third operator in that pack.
When they showed when I heard Arnold was cheating on his wife, and I was like, oh my God, this guy on top of the world, this girl's got to be the most beautiful. And then you saw this poor woman, you're like, dude, that guy was lonely as shit.
It's not that it's better. It was just different.
Poor Arnold. Oh man. Anyways.
Can you imagine the noises that dude makes when he's banging?
Wow. Wow. No, I can't. I'll leave that for you when you're home alone there, dude.
I want to play as Naked Arnold and hold a machine gun. Like these bullshit homoerotic fantasies, and you're going to try to paint me? Okay. Fuck right off, bro. Just get naked with Arnold holding machine guns.
Well, the only other one I could see if we're gonna go down this crazy path of just let's be bonkers is why don't we actually get like a Predator or a Xenomorph or you know what I mean, like Freddy Krueger.
Because then it's just Fortnite.
That's what it is now. I mean, what is Judge Dredd doing in the middle of Verdansk, running around in his like power armor? It's like, bro, I'm Barbie with glow sticks, and then our other teammate is like a ghost, and then we got Judge Dredd. Like, we've already crossed that line. We've already crossed. I think Dredd was the key where we went overboard. In my opinion, you could sell me on the '80s stuff still. You could sell me on the cultural impact of Die Hard and on Rambo. I would totally buy off on that. It fits the theme. Judge Dredd. That's just why not? We're there.
He is the law.
He is the law.
He is the law.
Another thing we missed during the week, Filbert, it was actually a couple weeks ago now, and I watched the whole thing. You did not, although you should have. Was the PlayStation, like the big PlayStation conference, which actually had a surprising number of really cool things. I didn't really get a chance to talk to you too much about this. I know E3 came and left without PlayStation. Obviously, Xbox had a pretty big show. Sony finally decided to answer. I guess, I don't know if this was to drum up support for the holiday or what. But everything they announced is not coming in the next 2 or 3 years. So some of the bigger announcements, we had Spider-Man 2, we had Wolverine, we had God of War Ragnarok. None of which are on the horizon. No mention of Horizon, by the way, which isn't not coming out now until February of last year. Why are we getting the shocker when I said Horizon?
Because I can't do that with my hands. I got to do that.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry.
Can you bend your pinky without bending this finger?
Just my pinky? Well, okay, you mean like this? Is that what you're talking about?
Like I move my pinky, bro, that finger
A
follows.
little bit, a little bit. It's all, this one isn't as good. You know what it is? It's all those years of playing recorder in college.
Yeah,
Maybe in music.
something in college.
This wrist, I will tell you what, deflects bullets, legit. It's the strongest muscle in my no. Yeah. So okay, like, what was the point of this? What was the point of this conference with Sony? Why now? Why these games that aren't coming anytime soon? Was there any reason? I can't think of one. I'm being serious.
Drum up hype and keep people interested. It's hard when you've got games that have such long development cycles
Hmm.
because the launch title, the Spider-Man launch title, was basically a glorified DLC. It was a very, very fun game. I loved it,
I still
but
get to play it.
it was just a DLC.
It was short,
Uh,
right? It was only like 4 or 5 hours. Like you beat it like in a weekend kind of thing.
I beat it in six. It took like 16 hours, I think, something stupid like that. But it was
Okay.
still a great game.
All right.
Uh, I just think that they just want to keep people hyped up, and I think that after a while of people saying, "Oh, Sony's not saying anything, Sony's gone silent," but people bitching about Sony not giving updates, they're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
here's some games we're working on. They're not coming anytime soon, but here's a flashy trailer that we captured in engine."
I mean, Sony has to know they're winning, right? I feel like that's still the more sought after console. Would you agree with that? And I'm a Sony guy. I'm very biased, but I
It's
feel like
impossible
Sony's.
because they're both sold out constantly. There's neither one of them coming to stock.
I feel like I can get an Xbox easier than I can get a PlayStation.
Could you go to your local store right now and buy either of them off the shelf?
I don't think so.
Could you order one or the other from the internet right now and expect to see it within 2 weeks?
I'm gonna go on Amazon right now and see if they have an Xbox Series X. I don't think they do. I'm gonna check right now. I haven't checked. It's just in my. I mean, and that's me. That's my bias, and I'm obviously very biased. I'm very clear on this. Do you, in your opinion, you think the console race is a lot closer this generation than the last generation?
No, I still think that Sony's going to win, but it's hard to tell which one is legitimately more sought after numbers wise when they're both out of stock constantly. And if that was if that's accurate, Microsoft's production capability is much larger than Sony's. So you would think that they'd be able to get more on the shelves, and if they're not in stock, then theoretically they'd be selling through more of them. But I don't know what their production levels are if they're just trying to match Sony's and go apple for apple. I don't have any of that deep level insight, but I would definitely say that yes, PlayStation's probably the more sought after console anecdotally, but because they're both constantly sold out, I don't know.
Yeah, and you're right. By the way, you cannot get a Series X on Amazon. I I think Sony, well, both Sony and Xbox have this problem. They go back and forth with this. It's where they get such an insurmountable lead. We've seen it before on the Xbox 360. We've seen it back in the days of PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3. Whatever company is in the lead, they just kind of fall apart. And I know it's hard to be on the top. You know, the wheel of fate. Sometimes you're going up and then you're going back down. I get it. I wonder when Sony releases announcements this early in advance. Like, we all knew there was a new God of War. They've talked about it for a while. I think we could all at least hypothesize there was going to be a sequel to Spider-Man, which was one of their best-selling games ever. Wolverine was a genuine surprise. I did not see Wolverine coming. I don't think a lot of people did. When they release game announcements this early, and you and I both know there's a good chance these games are going to be delayed. You're talking a game announcement that came out a couple weeks ago, and we're talking 3 or potentially 4 more years before it's actually here. I think that hurts a game more than it helps it.
I agree. I agree. Because like you said, it kind of becomes old news at that point, and you kind of lose that like
Right.
edge of excitement. But it's difficult, and it kind of speaks to. It kind of paints like a different picture of PlayStation now that you mentioned that. It kind of makes them seem like they're struggling a little bit, like they got to manufacture news or try to reinvent the wheel that is
Right.
God of War. Like, because there's nothing coming, there's nothing on the horizon. PlayStation Studio, what's the next major game that PlayStation Studios is putting out?
It's Horizon, and it won't be out until February, assuming it doesn't get delayed again.
Yeah, that's like what, fucking 5 months from now?
Yeah, through the holiday, so there's no big Christmas push or holiday push of usually there's always some hot game everybody's got to have. Yeah, and that's what I wonder about. Like, I remember when Uncharted 4 was announced. This was years ago. I think we saw four trailers, three or four sequential years of E3 back when Sony was still participating in E3, of more Uncharted, and it was like, got it, it's coming. But like when the game came out, and it was a great game, Rachel and I played through it and we loved it. Um, I felt like, oh yeah, here's the part where, and then like I knew where whole these giant set pieces were because I've already seen them play out because they'd run out of things to show you in the trailer. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I think that's what always I struggle with. I like the hype. I appreciate the hype. I like that new things are coming. Obviously, I want to be teased, but I feel like there's got to be a threshold of like 2 or 3 years. 2 or 3 years. Don't tease me that much longer because I can't handle it. I feel like after a while, it's just you get to a point when you're like, okay, got it. Like we get you're working on other stuff, but I mean, like, why not just announce that you're working on a PlayStation 6? Because you might be like, hey, coming soon. Like I don't know. Like seriously, like how far out do we want to get?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, um,
Um, Yeah, I think probably out of those games, based on their predicted timelines, I think Ragnarok will be next. I think we're gonna get Ragnarok late next year, would be my guess. I know I don't care what the dates at the trailer say. I think Ragnarok out of those is the closest to coming to fruition. It would make the most sense in timeline of like when the games were launched and what order they launched in and when did the sequels start and that sort of thing.
are you concerned at all that the one game that is close to coming out didn't get featured? Like, are we actually going to get this fucker in February?
I thought about that because you would think even if it was just like a 30-second snippet or something, like they had a 40-minute presentation. There were some games they showed in there which stunk. They could have definitely trimmed out some of the lamer announcements. They could have tightened up things. There was a lot of rehashing. They did this two-prong announcement where like the first part of it was third-party games, and then like Jim Ryan came on. He's like, "All right, now we're gonna talk about real games," and that's when they announced the big hitters, the Sony first-party games coming out. There was plenty of room in that 40-minute block to just tease that Horizon is still coming. I assume they'll probably do another direct or whatever, something about it later on, maybe. But, you know, when Sony says they're doing an announcement like this, the world listens and they have such a command of at least the diehard fans. And I think that was the biggest takeaway I saw from just social media was people like, well, where's Horizon? So, yeah, I do wonder, especially since it's been delayed now more than once kind of thing. Like, what's going on here?
Is the original Horizon part of like the Legacy collection or whatever that you can download and play for free with PlayStation Plus?
I don't think that it was, but it was a PlayStation Plus game some time ago.
Okay. Because I don't have it and I haven't played the original. And I kind of think that I should before the new one comes out.
See, I really like that game. It's weird. When I think back to like PlayStation games that left an impact with me, that game blew me away because that was the first game I ever played in HDR. So I never had an HDR TV. We bought an HDR TV. We got a PlayStation 4 Pro. We got Horizon Zero Dawn. That's so all the lighting effects at night, all the dinosaurs and stuff like that really blew me away. Thinking back on it, I'm not saying it was a bad game, but I don't know how well it holds up. But I still think it's worth it. I mean, I would still play it because it does. It's a very interesting world, and this will be somewhat of a direct sequel to the first one. I suspect they'll have some kind of like previously on Horizon Zero Dawn, and they'll give you like a 5-minute teaser or whatever. But yeah, it was a cool concept. I mean, giant robots and medieval weapons. Like, why is this happening? It was interesting. So I think it's worth checking out, especially now that they've enhanced the hell out of it and it runs way better than it did when I played it. 30 frame a second trash.
Hey.
Last thing about Sony, and we'll jump on to Xbox for a few minutes here, is the big system update is now live with the 3D audio enhancements, the M.2 installation, some new features on the game bar. Have you had a chance? I know you haven't bought an M.2 yet because I didn't tell you which one to buy. But but
It's so fair.
but have you had a chance to check out the game bar? Have you piddled with any of that, or any of the new settings, any of the new features, or have you just kind of business as usual for you on PlayStation 5?
You haven't walked me through it yet, so I don't even know.
Okay. I will say that I am very happy of how they've implemented party systems, and I'm very happy that they tweaked that bottom game bar, so now you can totally remove and replace anything on that bar. I think the PlayStation UI, I still am not a fan of it. I don't like it. It has not grown on me. I accept it. I don't like it. The fact that you have like a short press of the PlayStation button versus a long press, how buried things are in menus. And I mean, like even the other day when you were trying to find Vanguard, I was like, hey, Phil, download Vanguard so we can play. And you're like, where do I search for it? I'm like, I don't know. We couldn't figure, like, it took us like 5 minutes to like dig around in menus. I had a different screen than you did. That's where I think they need to focus their energy.
I would agree. I don't dive super deep into it. It's like, okay, here's my game. This is what I need to click to make it turn on. And like, I'm an expert at hooking up the whole hotel Wi-Fi on the PlayStation. If you ever need to figure out how to hook up to hotel Wi-Fi, you
Phil's
let
your
me.
man.
Yeah,
That's right.
but I don't dick around with that too much, so it's not that big of a problem for me. But you're right. I much prefer Xbox's user interface.
Yeah, I think over time when Xbox redid their system UI, I wasn't that impressed. But after really using the PlayStation one, I like Xbox's way better.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing with the Xbox is that it's a lot quicker to navigate to very specific things, and because you have that whole group bar down the left hand side, you can really customize shortcuts and stuff that you want. Like PlayStation, just to like invite you to a party, it's like way too many button presses. It really is. It's like press this, scroll over, hit this, go up, press this. It's like, oh my god! Like, I mean, you do it so much, it's mechanical. It's too buried in itself. It took itself, I don't know if it took too seriously or what. And the fact that the opening screen is an advertisement that I cannot get rid of. Whatever they want to show me, that's what I have to look at. Whether it's the Fortnite skins or some stupid Sony movie coming out or whatever. Like, I'm waiting to see credit card applications on there. Like, this is just an open space I can never get rid of, and I hate that.
Yeah, I agree.
It's dumb. Speaking of Xbox, though, Phil, what do you think about the new Halo Series X console and the, hopefully to get you one soon, Halo Series X Elite controller? What are your thoughts?
I think they both look fucking awesome, and I'm super happy you were able to get me one of the consoles.
And there's still, it's weird because Amazon and Best Buy still have yet to release their like pre-orders. As a matter of fact, right now, I don't know if you could see, I'm gonna open the window. If you could see it if you see the glasses, I don't know if you could see my monitor getting white on my glasses.
Yeah.
That window is Chrome opened with the Microsoft Store with all your information saved. All I have to do is hit place order. Right now it says currently out of stock. Like, that's how many times I've been trying to get you one of these stupid things, because I feel like at some point they're going to go live and I'll be ready.
Oh, Jim, show us your shirt.
I look like a little
If
man baby right now. Looks like I have no neck.
if
Hey
you
Phil.
stood up, it would be better. But okay.
Hey Phil. You like War Never Changes? Yeah, this is my cool shirt. Yeah, I'll get you a present eventually.
I didn't say anything about that. It was just wanted to see the shirt. Jesus.
Hey, show everybody what I got you. Okay, cool. I'm just giving you a hard time. Yeah, you know that Halo. Yeah, there it is. Beautiful. Yeah, that Halo. So that announcement, I mean, that was something we were hoping for so long. We were really hoping for a limited edition console that didn't suck. I mean, the controller was just icing on the cake. But then they took it even farther. They've added in external hard drives. We have different headsets rolling out now. It's like they are really branding the hell out of this, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. I'm just so glad that they don't stink. Like they actually look legitimately cool, and I guess based on the hype, clearly they sold out in seconds. Like I've never seen anything. I would say that rivaled how fast PlayStation 5 sold out, honestly.
100%.
Where people were fever pitch just trying to get these things like as quickly as possible.
Yeah. They announced that at like the weirdest event. What is up with that?
Yeah, so that I don't understand because Gamescom is not typically a US type. Obviously, it's Germany, but that whole ceremony that's under Jeff Keighley's wing. He has exclusive trademark rights to what they call Opening Night Live (ONL), where he got a lot of really big announcements that weren't featured anywhere else, and Halo was definitely one of them. I knew the second Joe Staten, who is the now game director for Halo Infinite, who replaced Chris Lee, who fucked that game up. Uh, when he came on the stage, I was like, "Holy crap, this is happening!" It happened so fast, but it was such a weird time of the day. It didn't really get a lot of fanfare, and I think only the select few of us who were like actively watching the event knew that it was coming. Um, which is interesting. They could have done a better job of it for sure.
Yeah, they could have.
For sure.
Motherfucker.
Those
Well,
motherfuckers.
so Jim, what else do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the last thing I have on the announcements to bring up was just briefly, and I don't understand this. You probably don't care, and there's not a whole lot to say about it. Ubisoft and all of their weird installation sizes. Ubisoft has been going back and updating all of their old games, rightfully so, to get 60 frames a second. So Division 2 got a big upgrade. Um, Ghost Recon Breakpoint got an upgrade. Watch Dogs Legion got an upgrade. And on all the platforms, PC included, these upgrades are anywhere from 25 to, I'm looking here, 45 gigabytes in size. So these are like the high-res texture packs, the 4K texture packs, the enhanced sound, whatever. Except on PlayStation 5, where these updates are 3 gigabytes and 6 gigabytes, which is peanuts compared to everybody else. It stirred a big question as to what is going on. From a technical perspective, it boggles my mind because computers should be the most optimized version. So if anything, computers should be really small. The fact that Sony has figured this out makes me wonder just how advanced this hardware is and people haven't figured it out.
That would be interesting. Either that or it's not. It can't handle quite as much as they say it can.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're not getting good upgrades. PlayStation's getting like a 1K upgrade and everybody else is getting 4K. I don't know. Yeah, it's very odd to me. It's not really a big news story other than I think the takeaway here is we don't yet fully understand just how powerful these consoles are. Xbox included. I'm not picking on Xbox here. There's definitely more here than we're aware of, and as we get smarter, as the next generation, the PlayStation Pluses or the PlayStation Pros come out, or I don't know what Xbox is going to call their next console. They're running out of names, but whatever like their mid-generation upgrade is, it's very interesting. So that's all I had to say about that.
The next Xbox is going to be Xbox Series Y. Bother.
Wow. Savage. Well, I think we covered it all, man. Is there anything I missed?
No, I think that's it, buddy. I think that is it.
All right.
What did you? Do we even want to talk? Do we want to say how hyped we are for Wolverine?
I mentioned it. You didn't say anything.
Oh, I missed it. I'm sorry. Well, I went back and watched the trailer, and the hairs on my back of my neck and my arm stood up. As long as it plays like Spider-Man, I'm so stoked for that. I don't care what it is. I want to be part of it.
Would the traversal and Wolverine be cool or weird if he could climb up walls by punching into them with his claws?
Cool.
Okay. So you're looking for a vertical game where he's like climbing up a building, like takes him like 10 minutes?
Well, he's super strong. He can jump high.
Okay, so he's jumping and like punching in the wall and then like pulling out and then jumping and like he's leapfrogging. He's not going like one arm at a time.
Right.
Oh, okay, that's fair enough. Do you think there needs to be a crossover with Spider-Man, or should Wolverine be his own character?
What if Wolverine is DLC for Spider-Man 2?
Oh, like a teaser? That would be an interesting. So Insomniac did confirm that they're in the same universe. Not sure what that means yet. Obviously, it would imply there's some sort of team up. Okay, so you're thinking like a backdoor pilot on like a TV show where like Wolverine makes an appearance in like one level of Spider-Man. Like meanwhile, and you play just like 30 seconds of Wolverine.
I hope not. I hope it's a standalone game and that it's awesome.
Oh no, it's going to be a standalone game. But do you think there's going to be a little teaser of that in Spider-Man, or do you? To me, Wolverine sells on his own. I don't think Wolverine needs Spider-Man. But now I'm thinking, like remember in the original Spider-Man you had, and I liked them. I know a lot of people didn't, but you remember like the Mary Jane like part where you had to like sneak around the camp and take pictures and all that stuff.
Yeah, totally pointless. Yeah.
Okay, I like that, first of all. But do you think we'll get some of that with like Wolverine, where it'll be like Wolverine will show up and help out for like a mission or something, and he'll be in the game. He'll be
I guess that'd be all right. I just don't know why Logan would want anything to do with a fucking 22-year-old kid from New York City.
That's a good point. Yeah, we don't know what take of Wolverine this is. Like, is he going to be old, like mean? I mean, Wolverine's never been a charming fellow. That's part of his gruffy, his rugged charm. But yeah, maybe something brings him back.
If your superpower was every time you need to use it, it just fucking cuts your hands to pieces, I think you'd be miserable too.
That was the joke. It's a stupid joke, but I feel like this is the best place I'm ever going to get to say it. It was my joke on why the Hulk is always so mad, and it's because he rips through all of his clothes except his pants. So he looks down and he's still just got like a regular Bruce Banner sized package, and he gets really pissed. That was always, I don't know why that always, like he blows through his shirt, he blows through his shoes, and then he's got his pants on. It's like,
no wonder Scarlett Johansson ditched Disney. She's trying to get her a real man.
Well, Phil, we said it all and then some. We probably should have stopped 5 minutes ago, but here we are. We squeaked out 44 minutes of audio broadcast excellence. As always, I'm going to pass it over to Phil. I hope you guys appreciated the show, and Phil is going to take it away when I click this button right here.
Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Sorry that this has gone from a weekly show to a monthly show. I think Jim and I both bear some culpability in that, but much like Jim's perpetual virginity, war also changes.